Today we're going to talk about how to know if your ex is breadcrumbing you, but I'd like to look specifically at real-life tactics that exes have used to breadcrumb. First things first though, what is breadcrumbing? Well, breadcrumbing often refers to when an ex does just enough to make you think they're interested in re-pursuing a relationship with you, to keep you on the hook, so to speak. However, usually that ex hasn't really made a decision on whether or not they want to pursue you romantically just yet. They are just keeping their options open. It's never fun to be on the receiving end of behavior like this, but in this video, I'm going to show you some of the most common signs that breadcrumbing exes engage in, and after that, I'm going to peel back the layers psychologically and help you understand why exes breadcrumb. So I want this to be sort of the most comprehensive video on breadcrumbing within the breakup space. And I thought really in order to do that, it would be good to ask real people going through real breakups what kind of breadcrumbing behaviors or exes were actually exhibiting. So as always, our private Facebook support group is perfect for this. So I went ahead and literally just asked them. So I literally wrote a post saying, hey, I'm writing an article and filming a video on breadcrumbing. I want to base it on real life experiences. So I thought coming to you guys and asking you would be perfect. What are some of the breadcrumbing tactics that your ex has used on you in the breakup? And there were really 5 tactics or signs that caught my eye. I'm going to provide proof of those signs by showing you the actual comments that caught my interest and provide a little bit of commentary when it comes to them. All right, so let's begin with sign number 1, asking for a favor or doing you a favor. This is actually probably the only addition to the list that sort of shocked me. But in hindsight, it makes complete sense. It's just often overlooked. So I got the addition from this specific comment right here. And really, this part of the comment interested me. Asking me if I had some clothes for a funeral. Of course I did, and then proceeded to talk about his family drama the entire conversation, said he procrastinated, don't worry about the clothes, he'll buy some. So what we have here is an ex who's clearly going through some stuff emotionally. There's a funeral involved. Don't know the context yet, but there's a funeral involved, and usually the person who he would vent to is no longer in the picture. They're broken up. So he makes up an excuse to talk to that person so he can vent. The excuse was the favor of borrowing clothes. Yet, what I find interesting is our member doesn't necessarily take it that way. They don't take it as, because of the emotional nature of the conversation, it's probably taken more as if he's opening up to her in the same way that he would as if he was in a relationship with her. But to him, he's looking at it a different way. And so we have this breadcrumbing happening ultimately because I feel like there's a lack of communication on his part with her. And so the comment also goes on to explain some of the other behaviors that this particular ex engaged in. And that's actually going to be sign number 2. Which is they set up a date to see you and then stand you up at the last minute. Now, I could use the previous comment, the favor comment, to highlight this, but believe it or not, I want to use a different comment because there are lots of variations, but this comment specifically said it in detail. And that comment is, he kept setting up excuses for months to see me, but he didn't follow through. Now, I blurred out the rest of the comment for the commenter's privacy since personal information was shared, and I'm certain they wouldn't want that out there for the public to see, but it doesn't really revolve around the point I'm trying to make here. This sign, in and of itself, might be the most common example of a breadcrumbing I saw amongst all the people who responded to the post. So essentially, an ex, they act like they really want to see you in person, and then at the last moment, they never follow through with those plans. I think when we look back at the breakup avenue for this loss of independence, an ex potentially feels this avenue heightened because they've already felt the loss of independence at one point when they dated you, especially if they're avoidant. So what it does is it often causes them to relive the trauma even if they weren't the one to open up or trigger the offer of meeting up. So even the threat of meeting up, the threat of potentially getting back together brings them back to the breakup trauma and causes them to go away. Sign number 3, repeating your wants directly to you, but never following through on it. Now, my favorite comment out of all the ones that posted was this one. He knew the right words that always got: marriage, love, commitment. He dropped them and knew I'd come back to him. This one stuck out to me because it's essentially an ex using the concept of tactical empathy for their own evil purposes. Now, if you aren't familiar with tactical empathy, it's essentially where you repeat a person's worldview back to them, their hopes, dreams, desires. And as long as you show you are empathetic towards those things, you literally repeat it give back to them. They'll look at you like you're a mind reader, and that person is a lot more likely to be pliable to your own wants. You can kind of get them to agree to do things that would have been a little bit more difficult for them to agree to originally. When I get into the psychology section of this video, I'm going to talk about puppet relationships, and I feel that's what's happening here. The avoidant ex breadcrumbs because they want that love adrenaline spike from you, and they know exactly what buttons to push to get it. They say the right words, they get the reaction or even physical benefit of sleeping together with you that they wanted. They got what they want, they're out until, of course, nostalgia hits again, and then the cycle repeats over and over and over again. That's a little bit of a puppet relationship. More on that in a second.